Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. I am Ron Smith, and this is the Dr. Ron Smith Investigating Show, where we separate the real from fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we even turn your water into wine. Today is episode number 13, and we're talking about credit report and how to remove negative items. One of the things that I talk about is that 5 basic things that I think for financial literacy, or things that you have to build your financial platform around, is you need to make sure you earn, or how you create income. It has to be a steady income, and how you manage that. And the thing we're going to talk about now is how do you leverage that? And leverage means basically using other people's money. And then, I talk about protection and also building a legacy. So using OPM, which means basically you're buying a large ticket item. I'm not talking about a yacht, but you could, or a major car, but you can. But more, I'm talking about real estate, and mostly houses, your home. I think home ownership is key to your individual self-confidence and self-assurance and your foundation. But there's a lot of ways to even make that work for you also. But one of the things that I wish somebody had talked to me about is the credit score, credit report, credit utilization, et cetera, et cetera. Because those things would have, I would have avoided a whole lot of financial traps along the way. And what I mean by that is that your credit report, your credit score is your report card, which means that basically, I like to excel in academics and everything that I do. And believe it or not, I probably would have got a D 40 years ago, because I did not understand what that is. So I'm going to explain that a little bit. But your credit score is a prediction of your credit behavior and how likely you are to repay back a loan. So basically, that is pretty much what a credit score is, or your credit report. And the reason why that's so important, because basically where you live, your education, what you drive dictates to what that score is. Now, the lowest score you can get is 300, and the highest score you can get is 850. And the thing about it is that it takes time to get to that 800 score, and it takes a lot of focus and consciousness of how you spend your money. Now, there are, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax are the major ones, but there are some other ones that report to these financial and loan companies. And the thing about it is that the first thing you need to do is get your credit report and learn what your credit score is. Now, you can get your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. You can get a free report, or you can go with one of the credit bureaus that I mentioned, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. In order to get your score, you can get your score from any of your bank, any of the financial lenders that you are associated with, or any of the credit card companies. And you can get it from a nonprofit counselor, or anything that you deal with housing. So how do you get a good credit score? First thing you need to do is make sure you understand what your cash flow is. So once you understand what the cash coming in, your income, your cash going out, which is your expense, you have a better idea of how to plan for it and how to actually create a plan for yourself, which means that basically when you have a good cash flow, you mean you're paying your bills on time, every time. That's the first thing the creditors or loan lenders, mortgage brokers look for. The next thing is do not max out your credit, which means basically if you have a line of credit or if you have a credit card, and this is one of the things that I probably got an F in college, because I got a credit card, and the first thing, since I didn't understand how to use that, the first thing I did was maxed it out. And the next thing I didn't do or failed to do is pay off the balance each month. So that was the two biggest hits on my credit, which means that you have to understand what is your credit utilization. I have a line of credit or a credit card that is $1,000. I cannot go over $300. So basically, I should be able to use like $250 max that I'm going to pay off during that year. So that is probably the simplest formula that I can give you regarding that. And one of the things that I learned over time was this phrase called the authorized user. And basically that is if I had put my my son or daughter on one of my accounts, my credit card account, let's say for my phone bill, which I know I will make sure I pay it off monthly and pay it off in full and pay it off on time. Let's say when they were 8 or 9 years old, by the time they get ready for college, they would have 10 years of positive credit. And they would have that 750 to 800 credit score that most creditors look for. And the thing about it is you should only apply for what you need. You remember the time that you could walk into any malls, which is a dying species right now, but they used to have the credit card station where you can get credit cards, and basically you could get a credit card like that. That is not what you want to do. It's even going to getting these store cards like Macy's, JCPenney's, and Dillard's. And that doesn't show a lender that basically you are, I guess, responsible is the word I'm searching for. So what you want to do is limit that to maybe 2 or 3 cards total. And reason why you want to do that is that in the beginning, everyone is probably going to put you on a limit. So if you have maybe 1 or 2 cards, you would not max out that card just in case you have to use it. So how do we actually go about fixing or addressing some bad credit? Well, one of the things that I want to warn you is that this is not no overnight solution. You know, fixing your credit, or if you got some things on it that you need to dispute, it takes time, and it takes some time and patience, and most people really don't want to do it. As a matter of fact, they actually one of their solutions is to hire a credit repair service, and I'm going to get to that probably before at the end. So basically, you need to have patience. But first of all, you need to make sure you get your annual credit report, so that basically you can see exactly what areas that you really need to address. Because the process is probably going to take months. And before I forget, one of the things that you want to do, just in case, let's say this is the year that you're going to buy a big ticket item, whether it's going to be your car, or you're going to buy your townhouse or your single family home, or you're going to get that, finally going to listen to me and get that duplex, triplex, or quadplex. You don't want to have too many inquiries on your account for that 6 months. You want to make sure you're paying all your bills on time, and basically you're not maxing out anything, you're not closing any accounts, et cetera, because those are hard inquiries on your account. And hard inquiries on your account are negative, and it's almost like a negative mark on your report, and they do show up, and you want to stay away from that. So basically, if this is your year to make that move, and even to open that start that business, you want to make sure that you don't have any of those negative things that's on your account. Now, when you look at your report, here are some common errors that you need to look for. Look for incorrect names, because when I moved into this area, I found out there was like 6 or 8 Ron Smith or Ronald Smith, and some of them had even my middle initial. I think 2 middle initial, 2 had different middle initials, and 2 just had Ronald Smith on it. And one of the things you look at your credit report, you make sure that your addresses of your history matches where you actually have lived. It's great if you hadn't moved around as much. But when I was in the military, I moved around a whole lot. So I had to make sure I knew exactly, what state or city that I was in. So if you know that you hadn't made any late payments or missing any payments, and that reports, shows that this possibility could be you, that might be an area, a common area that you need to address. If you had in the past closed some accounts and they still list them as open, that is another area that maybe you can dispute when you get ready to challenge these credit bureau, or go directly to the person that made these inquiries against you. And it might be some duplicate accounts that you might look at, or if there's some incorrect personal information. Those are the things that you need to be careful and aware of when you get ready to, write a letter and a challenge, and basically they said dispute these things on your credit report. And if you have any kind of additional documents that you can verify that you made these payments, would be great. One of the things that you have a legal right to make sure that your credit report is accurate, fair, and it has a detailed summary that this is actually you. And it's the Fair Credit Reporting Act that gives you the legal power to challenge any of those type things that might be negative on your report that is not yours. So that is the information that you need to begin. So when we come back after the break, we're going to actually get into what we need to put into that letter. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be back. Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. We are back, and we're talking about credit report and basically how to remove those negative items off Uh, and first of all, we need to understand that basically a part of your portfolio should be OPM, which is using other people's money, because those are, it would be great that basically if you can buy that BMW cash, it would be great if you can purchase that home cash, uh, and you won't need to actually to have a credit report or a credit score. Unfortunately, many of you, as myself, and don't is not in that category yet. But even if I was in that category, because I know most of the multimillionaires, I understand how to actually use credit to their benefit. And basically, that's how they can actually write off certain items off their, uh, in their business, because they know how to use credit. And the thing about it is that this is a conversation I wish I had prior to going to college, because if I did, when I got that credit card, I would understand what is credit utilization. And this is part of the conversation we had in the first half, is that basically you only use 25%. And I use the example that the line of credit or the credit card is $1,000. I can't go over $250, and because I have to stay within 30%. But actually, I could go up to 300, but I got to make sure that I pay it off at that charging cycle, normally during the last week of the month. And I would learn how to actually set my kids up for success, because I would have chose a credit card and I would put them on it when they were 8, 9, 10 years old. So by the time they got out of high school, they would have had, in getting ready to go to college, they could have had the car with less interest rate, APR, than basically that they probably had when they have trying to get some things after college on their own. So those are just the small little nuggets about how important your credit score is. And your credit score is really your payment history and how you are being able to repay your debts. Just as simple as that. And those are the things that I think need to be taught in high school or elementary school. Some of this, and I'm going to take a little sidebar here. Some of the basic information that I've seen, of course, they tell you about setting up a savings and checking account, and they basically, they go through the basics. But I'm not sure if they talk to you really about your credit score and your FICO score and all, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the things that I would suggest that each student need to understand as they matriculate through their education. They also understand what is the credit report. But you got to realize that somebody is benefiting from your lack of knowledge also. So one of the things that you have to be more savvy is that you have to do things that actually work for you instead of working for someone else. So the first half, we talk about basically, the OPM. And because you're using other people's money, which is a financial institution or a bank, they will see what your credit score is based on your credit report. And if the lower your numbers, like 300 is how it starts, to 850 is how it ends. So basically, what you want to do is that 650 and above is where you want to be. Around 680, 690, close to 700. That's what you want to be, because that's that B plus getting into the A plus area, and that's where you want to be. And the ways that you can actually do that is basically you have to make sure that you are making your payments every month, paying off, making sure you're paying on time, and you got to make sure that you are keeping a tab on it. And I mentioned that you can get your free annualcreditreport.com. You can get your credit report, or you can get from each of the credit bureaus. The major ones are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And the thing about it is that each one of those bureaus could be reporting something different. So you want to get all three of those and see how you can reconcile if you've once you get your report and you see some negative actions on it. Now, the thing about it is that after 7 years, the negative reports from different creditors should be eliminated. And I can guarantee you it's not going to happen. You have to go directly to these bureaus and let them know that basically you're going to complain about this situation. So let's talk about once you get your credit report, you see some things that's missing. One of the major things that you will find, some of the common errors, is that some of your payments may be marked that they was late. And that's why you got to be bid on the 1st or 15th or the 30th. But some of those revolving lines of credit are due the 25th through the 28th, maybe to the 30th. So you got to be very careful that you're paying those your debts within that time. And I don't recommend that you close any accounts, which means that you can pay them in full, but don't close them, because closing the accounts, that is a mark against you also. So you got to be careful with that. But some of the accounts that you're no longer using might be still open, which means that basically they think that you're still owe money on those things. And there might be some duplicate accounts, and somebody might be charging you double, and then you think you already finished paying it off, but it still shows. The biggest thing that I've seen is that, and I mentioned in the top of the show, is that when I moved into this area, I found out there was like 6 or 8 Ron Smiths, Ronald Smith, and with different initials or just Ron Smith, etc. And one of the things you have to do, especially if you're moving around, like I was in the military, there are different addresses. Make sure you remember your addresses or the places that you have lived. So that might be an error that shows up on your credit report. So let's get ready to do those. Actually, how do I dispute this? One of the things that I must tell you up front is that it's a very long process. And what I mean by that is basically, let's say that I have maybe 2 or 3 things I want to dispute on my credit report. So I write the letter to each one of the credit bureaus that it shows up on my credit report, whether it's TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. Let's say that each one of them has something different. So I'm going to write a letter to each one of them. It takes at least minimum 30 days to get back a response with me. So when they respond, they might say, hey, I want some additional documents to prove that basically you are XYZ. So then you get those documents, you send those things back in. One of the things that I want to really encourage you, that if you have some disputes on there, don't not follow up on it, because it's your legal right to have that information correct. And your basis for your legal rights is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, is the FCRA. And basically they understand that. So You're going to write your letter. You're going to explain, you know, what's wrong with your complaint. And I say, well, you know, my name is Ronald J. Smith, but on this report, it's Ronald L. Smith that made this, you know, these excessive charges. And that's what I want you to correct. And then they might ask you for supporting documents, and might be your driver's license, and et cetera, et cetera. So basically you want to send that in. And I want to pause right quick, is that basically what you want to do when you mail it a return receipt certified mail. And that way, basically you understand that they received it on the other end, and that something actually signed for it. And basically you put your contact information on the letter, and make sure you complete address and phone number. And what you want to do is get a copy of your credit report, and you want to highlight the errors or circle the errors of which one of the credit report that you making your complaint about. And then the next paragraph, you want to state, I would like this error removed or corrected on my credit report. And like I said, you send this to each of the credit bureaus, and like I said, it's going to take, you know, back and forth until you get it, but it's worth it. Now, let's say that basically it's been let's say 90 days, and you hadn't heard from any of these individuals back. The next move that I suggest you do is there is a consumerfinance.gov. And on this website, any dispute from any of the, from, you know, car loans, house, mortgage, student loans, etc., you can report these individuals saying that basically, I want these people investigated because I made some complaints and they haven't responded in a timely manner. And basically that's how this long process go. So one of the things I want to, in summary, you want to make sure you get your free annual credit report, or you can get, I think it's creditreport.com. Is so many different ways. Even the three bureaus, you know, as I mentioned, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, they can give you a copy of your credit report. And make sure you do this annual. It's almost because if you are in the mode of actually, you know, buying that big ticket items, starting a business, in the process of getting the loan, et cetera, you want to make sure that once you walk into that financial loan officer, there won't be no surprises, which means that, you know, it's I guess the either you're going to get it or you don't, but you need to know that information and have confidence when you walk in that basically you're going to be able to get that loan, be able to buy that loan, the high ticket items. So the talk I wish someone had talked to me about is basically the credit report and how important it is. It's one of those things that it could make and break in your financial success. And until next time, we're going to continue this conversation because there's more to it than just the brief time that I have right now. But credit report, how to remove those negative items is important, and how to do it. My time is up right now, and I thank you for yours. Until next time.